Hi, everybody, and welcome back. We are playing today over in Ohio against Kent State. Now, Kent State is definitely not a school that's known for its football team. I was doing a little bit of looking at this before starting this match here today, and I noticed that Kent State recently played Alabama. Alabama, if you're not familiar with this, is like, the best college football team in the world or in the country, and therefore is probably also the most reputable team here in this save. But they only beat Kent State 1-0, which is interesting. Kent State is in the Mid-American Conference, which is here in NCAA College Football Division I AAA, which is pretty far down. And this is actually with a number of teams that I mean, some teams that you'll recognize, maybe like the Navy Midshipmen. It's going to be Miami, Ohio. And Temple, I think we played against them already and stuff like that. Bowling Green. These are, and Army's down here as well. These are mostly teams that we would think of as being sort of mid-major teams or teams that are like, in actual like NCAA or Division II NCAA, something like that. Anyway, we'll take a look and we'll see what we can do here against them. We should be able to win this one pretty handedly. It's just a little bit strange, is what I'm saying. It's a little bit strange that we end up playing a team like Kent State, which I don't think BYU has ever played in football before in real life. Nor can I imagine them ever doing so in the future. Very, very interesting how this save works. And here we are at their stadium, and we have maybe about half the seats sold, maybe, if we're lucky. Of course, we don't know for sure because of the wonderful graphical quality that we have so far in this save. Hopefully, though, as was the case yesterday, when we get playing, we're going to have less of that stuttering and that sort of unwatchable video, and instead we'll have something that's a little bit more pleasing to the eye. And so here we go. We come out here on the pitch, and we will get this going. I always worry that I've been a little bit too negative with this particular save and with this editor data file. I'm just kind of disappointed with it, to be honest with you. Alpha Doe with the ball, and that's the end of that highlight. We had a little bit of discussion about it on the Football Manager forums overnight, and I mean, the idea behind it is that, nobody from outside can come into the NCAA, but I really don't think that the way it's been set up is all that great. Aldana needed to score there. That was a really good cross there by Daly. I'm not sure how Aldana didn't score. That's a little bit strange. So Daly brought this one. I'm sorry, it was Bowden with the cross. He threw it. He passed over to Bowden, threw it to him. He passed it to him. Bowden had Aldana in a great position, and Aldana just decided to kick it straight back at the goalkeeper instead of, trying to score. Bowden here with the free kick up to Williams, who gets ahead on it, and Vagras, their defender, is able to save it. It's back to Bowden, who is knocked down, but that's not going to be a foul. It looks like Chris Gallagher with it, and it's taken away from him, and we're having some problems trying to score. Now, remember, this is the Kent State team that held almighty Alabama to only a single goal, so this might actually be a pretty good team, believe it or not. We have another free kick that is headed out of the area. Daly now with it, and Daly should shoot on his own, and instead, I don't know what that was, is back with Alpha Doe. Alpha Doe over to Matt Williams, and that is the end of the highlight. This is a pretty poor job here by Daly. We're going to see this here in a second. So, yeah, this pass is back to him. He's wide open. He needs to shoot, and I guess he did sort of shoot. He didn't really have much on it, and that wasn't very impressive, was it? Chris Gallagher now knocks this one forward, and their goaltender has grabbed it and flopped on it, and now has kicked this forward, and we are back to get it once again. Matt Williams with it over to Gallagher. Gallagher brings this up himself, and he kicks this all the way back to Korn, and it goes back to Matt Williams. Matt Williams with it now, over to Martin, over to Benitez, back to Martin, here you go. And Martin has a shot from range that hits the very top of the netting, and that's it. So you think that we'd want to pass it over to Aldana, but apparently he's having a poor match because his rating keeps declining and declining and declining. And that's the way it goes. We have a lot of matches to play, and we don't have a lot of players to play it. And Sun Hyun Taek has had himself sent off, and that's going to create a problem for us, I think, in theory. And let's take a look and see what it is that we can do. So that means we only have one defensive midfielder. We'll put him over here in the middle, might as well. But you never know. Maybe that could completely destroy the nature of the tactic. We're going to have to take Bowden off for Jim Rocha, which is another really, really big risk for us. And here we go. So if you think that the tactic is magic, and if you think that we're just simply going to win every match by default, this is the video for you. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we can actually win this. We've had one person sent off already in this one, and then one of our star players had to come off because of an injury. We have a throw-in, and it's Kent State with the ball now, and here comes Taylor, and he's got a couple of men, and he passes it forward to De La Torre, who doesn't get a shot off in the end, and that was a really good defensive job by whoever was on our side who had it. Here's Huang Jae-won. Huang Jae-won knocks this one up. It's deflected as he knocks it up. Holbrook with it over to Taylor, over to Mofa, and his shot is just away from goal. And it is Kent State with the ball again. And this is brought up. It looks like Roca is going to get to it and just about knocks that one forward, looking for Aldana, who somehow gets to it. I don't know how he got to that one with 2 men around him. He takes it off the defender and shoots and misses everything. That was actually deflected, and so that'll end up being a corner for BYU. Let's see what happens with this corner. Roca now goes back and takes it, and it's headed by Gallagher, who just can't get that one in. That was a pretty good save, I think, by the goaltender, and that was a pretty nice header. And as I said before, I haven't done anything. I haven't even touched the set pieces. So we'll see what happens. We have a number of players who are really tired, are going to have to come off. So we'll see if we're able to actually see this one out. Especially these guys in the back are 3 big men there in the back playing defense. Gallagher gets it back from Alpha Doe, knocks it up to Roca, who's fouled, and they're going to call a penalty. And that's the weakest penalty call I think I've ever seen. I know. I say it all the time, right? What was the penalty? What happened? I didn't see anything happen. But in this particular instance, this is pretty weak. That's a pretty weak penalty call. I mean, was his shirt like lightly tugged or something like that? I don't know. They're giving him a yellow card. We're going to go up 1-0 here, I'm pretty sure. And this is going to be Aldana taking it. No, it's Daly taking it, and he puts it in there, and it's 1-0 BYU. And I think that we have kind of scored that goal against the run of play, to be honest with you. I'm sure that XG will have us ahead because it always does, but that wasn't pretty. That's not the sort of goal that we necessarily want to score. I mean, we're going to have a high XG because we just scored a penalty, of course. Huang Jae-won passes this to Taylor. Taylor back to Huang Jae-won, and he's going to kick that one from middle nowhere, so we'll let them do that all that they want. I mean, that's perfectly fine, and that is the end of the first half. And let's see what we can do. We are getting shots away, whatever. I'll just do what the assistant manager tells me to because that's the way it works. Aldana's having a bad game, but I'm going to keep him out there. Might as well. We're going to put Amutenia back on there on that right wing side, and then we're going to take Gallagher off, put in McNellis, and we'll take Alpha Doe off that nobody wants to play with. We'll put in Glenn Cook instead. And that means we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 changes. That last change is perhaps for Aldana if he can't score a goal, especially if we wind up giving one up, because these defensive boys we put on are not quite up to the task, I'm afraid. I think our next match after this is still only like 3 or 4 days afterwards, so we'll see how this one works out. This is one of the major complaints I've had about this save. I've told it to the creator of this editor data file, which is that if I can't sign players, it's kind of hard to piece together a squad that can play so many matches per week. And I mean, he's really flooded this thing with all sorts of matches. Here's Aldana, and he has a shot on goal that goes again straight at the keeper, but he passes it then afterwards to Grant Martin, who scores. It's goal number 3 for Martin. Youngster Grant Martin looks great out there and then makes it 2-0 BYU, and I think we can breathe a little bit easier. But yeah, like I was saying, I mean, the problem that we have is that you play all of these matches, all of these tournaments and all this other stuff, and what happens in the end is you just don't have enough players to play and you can't sign more. You can only sign 4 per transfer. So, I mean, you just sort of rely on your youth players and you play players you normally wouldn't. Interesting idea, interesting challenge, but I don't know. I don't know if this is the way that we want to play or not. Here's Roca with the free kick, knocks this one forward, looking for Silvas, can't quite find him, and it's knocked backwards. Taylor has it here. Kent State with an opportunity for a counterattack. Taylor knocks it back to Amofa. Amofa looking for De La Torre, and unfortunately for us, Silvas is there to make the interception back to Cook, who sort of lumps this one forward, looking for Aldana. And I can see some of the problems here with this tactic that are coming through, right? I mean, we're sort of lumping it forward every chance we get. Matt Williams now over to Silvas. We're playing a little bit better now. And there is the pass to Aldana, who I think is offside. He scores the goal. Let's see where the referee is. And the referee's running away, so I'm guessing that wasn't offside. That was onside. 3-0 BYU. All of this has come, of course, with BYU down to 10 men and with some of our better players taken off. No, he was onside. He was onside and just barely, and I mean, that's what happens when you're faster than the defenders. We're lucky in this save to have a player like Aldana, because if we don't have him, we are in trouble. I mean, because this is basically the sort of chance that this holy almighty tactic has been creating for us. 3-0 BYU. Here is another highlight right away, and let's see what happens. Remember, Kent State held Alabama to only 1 goal in their 1-0 loss. So I think we're faring a little bit better here, but then again, maybe Alabama was trying to do a park the bus or something. I don't know. Who knows what's happening? Of course, in real life, Alabama college football, you would never see them score only 1 point. That would be something. That'd be a real headline. Amofa now with it over to De La Torre back, but that should have been offside too, instead of just being way over the top. And that was really an over-the-top shot. That was ridiculous. De La Torre now knocks this one over for Vargas, whose header is just high, and skips off of the top of the woodwork. And we are going to need to make another change, and I think that we're going to have to take Silvas off, who looks like he's just totally wasted, which is interesting. Do we have someone else? Yes, Cesar Mesa is our last defensive midfielder, and so we're going to put him on and hope for the best. McNellis knocks this pass forward, looking for Aldana, and Cesar is just sort of looking at it and goes over to the goaltender for Kent State, who lumps one forward. De La Torre with it now over to Stamler, over to Amofa now. And Amofa's got a crossing, guys, and he just takes it himself. And that was another sort of defensive breakdown by us. Now, you notice that we tend to concede everything on the wing defensively. Huang Jae-won here with the corner, knocked out by Martin. Green now with it back to Stamler, who takes a shot. Unfortunately for us, Korn is there to make the save. We're fortunate because David Korn and Cesar Aldana are great players. And if we didn't have these two players, we would be in a lot of trouble. Here's Huang Jae-won again. And he's going to shoot himself. I mean, as long as they keep shooting instead of crossing, I'm fine with it. They can do that all they want. It's not going to bother anybody. But once they figure out how to cross the ball, then we're going to be in trouble. And we have a little bit less than 10 minutes left. We should be able to see out this match without much further ado or many problems. Here is a corner from Roja. He's going to step back and then wind up and fire. And that is knocked back in by Cook. Over to Williams now. Williams is going to wait a little bit and look for a cross. There it is to Martin. And fortunately for Kent State, the goaltender was in the right place at the right time, because that should have been Martin's second. That was an excellent decision by Williams to wait for him to get open, and then Martin was just totally wide open. Now, I don't know if this is just an FM23 thing or not, but when you see a player in that position, it's kind of strange to see them just hit the ball as hard as possible off the goaltender. And there is Robbie McNellis with his first goal off of that corner, and that's a 4-0 BYU lead. And boy, this has turned into a pretty comfortable win for us in a game that I was a little bit worried about for a while. And McNellis just able to get on top of that one over his defender and scores goal number 4 for us in this game, his first one of the season. And that was a header there by Amolfa, is that his name? And that one went just a little bit wide. 89th minute now, and here's Roca with the free kick. You can see as you're looking at that match momentum that we haven't kept control of the momentum for the entire game. There were a couple periods where I was a little bit worried. Roca now steps back for this free kick, knocks this one up, looking for McNellis. It doesn't quite work this time. Meza over to Cook. Cook with a shot from range, and that's just off the woodwork. Otherwise, that'd be 5. And hey, we've looked pretty good today, huh? Williams with it over to McNellis now. Passes this back. Temu Tanyanya over to Williams. It goes back to Benitez. Benitez walks this one forward, passes to Martin. Martin over to Benitez, and he has a shot from range and forces a save by Williams. We're going to take another corner. Let's see what happens. Here is Roja. Steps back, winds up and fires, and looking again for McNellis. It looks like all of these corners are set to the far post. And the Yenbian save, I had a lot more success with the near post. Roja now steps back and fires, and that was a near post corner. So maybe it's set on random. I don't know. Honestly, I'm not even going to go back and take a look. I probably should, but I mean, as I've said before, this is kind of a temporary save waiting for the real project to start, and I'm not sure how much time I want to spend just looking at how the corners are set up. In the end, BYU with the victory 4-0, and we did dominate XG. We dominated possession. We dominated pretty much every facet of the game. It was a good win in the end, though it didn't start off all that well, but it was that daily penalty that helped us out, and we, after getting that, I guess not a daily double, a daily single, we were able to recover and see the rest of the match out. BYU win again, and we'll have another match for you tomorrow. We're back home at our oddly designed stadium. I'll see you then. Bye.